All right, good afternoon, everybody. We're going to be ready to go in just a moment here. Got everything cropped and ready to move. Just waiting for the ROM to be switched. Both runners are going to be ready in just a second. Hope everybody's Friday is going well so far. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everybody. We've got SpicyChickenSpiciBoi and truehypermario here. Looks like he's switching his ROM over now. Hopefully everybody can hear everything okay. If there's an issue with volume on either audio, depending on the runner we're using or myself, just let me know. Well, what kind of popcorn are you making? Because depending on the type and how you're making it will determine how much time we have. See, now I don't know about popcorn, but myself, I'm just going to stick with a nice cup of coffee to get me going. Okay, looks like both players are ready. We should be good to go in a minute here. Okay, Spicy's timer is going down. True Hyper Mario's hasn't moved yet, so we're going to get that synced up and we'll be good to go on that, but looks like they are ready to begin. Okay, and as they get started, they're going to work on the syncing for the streams here. Little loss of P-speed at the end there for Spicy, but no major issues. True Hyper Mario is picking up the mushroom in 1-1 instead of doing it in 1-3. Okay, let's see. Audio. Got about a 10-second difference right now, so just checking out the thinking, but we'll get that taken care of in a minute. In the meantime, they both just hit the end card of 1-2, so True Hyper Mario is 10 seconds ahead already at this point. At least based on the timer. I could be wrong, but it's crazy looking at the screens being exactly in sync, and yet the timer is being 10 seconds off. And you'll pardon my distraction for a moment. I'm working on seeing where I can sync the streams. Okay, so okay, so we'll focus on this pinged for some assistance with the syncing. Someone new to using the actual controls aside from audio, so we'll let somebody handle that so we don't end up messing it up. No auto-scroller deaths. That's always a plus. Nobody ever wants to have to play 1-4 more than one time. Spicy's hammer brother is hanging around near that mushroom house. True Hyper Mario has moved a little bit further to the left alongside the track towards 1-5. Both duck jumping up to grab the warp whistle. So True Hyper Mario is fighting his hammer brother now. He moves more into the path of where he needed to go, up above where 1-5 was, whereas Spicy's is still hanging out a little behind. P-speed all the way, no tunnel. True Hyper Mario making his move. It looks exactly the same. Good P-speed all the way through, no tunnel. Hammer brother running away past 1-6. Hammer brother stays on that tile or moves left and moves back right. Spicy's going to be able to pick up the fire flower before getting to the airship. Okay, let's answer this. Okay, so we're going to be working on the syncing in just a second. All right, going into the first boss, both of them are going to have the fire flower unless something catastrophic occurs in the next 20 seconds or so here on this airship. We've all been there before, slight lack of paying attention. True Hyper Mario gets into the... Oh. Well, not catastrophic, but... True Hyper Mario entered the boss battle before Spicy, according to the screen. A little harder to tell with the timer. But Spicy's going to be going into World 2 with a Fire Flower. True Hyper Mario is not going to be able to pick his up until he gets to the airship in World 2. Okay, our timers are now synced, and that shows us that True Hyper Mario still has a little bit of a lead on SpicyChickenSpiciBoi after World 1. Thank you very much, Phoenix. I appreciate that. So 547 is the A press into 2-1 for True Hyper Mario. This is going to give us the idea of what his lead currently is, which is going to be 7 seconds. However, not having that fire flower, Spicy is going to have the opportunity to make up 2 to 3 seconds by fire killing that boom boom in the forward if he's able to maintain his fire flower all the way there. Let's switch the audio over to True Hyper Mario here. He's going to be picking up this tail here because he didn't have a power-up already. Be interesting to see what he does with it, though, because you do run slower with the tail. Now, in this level, you're not going to have P-speed anyway, so it's not going to hurt him to pick up the tail in 2-2. However, the thought being, he's probably going to use it to damage boost in the fort to pick up early P-speed. So let's see what he does with it. Yeah, and that's exactly what he does. He wants to build up early P-speed, so it's a good backup strategy. He's using it to damage boost. Spicy picks up his P-speed after the Thwomp still has his Fire Flower. Missed the pipe, so I think he's going to lose his P-speed here. But he gains it back outside the pipe, so that's very good. Now, True Hyper Mario is not using the strategy to damage boost on the spikes that I've seen some players do if they don't have a Fire Flower, wherein you fight this Boom Boom as Little Mario and pick up the mushroom later. 719 ball grab, 721 ball grab. Spicy Chicken is now only 2 seconds behind because of that Fire Flower. I see Neo. Thank you, Neo. Had the strategy long before I had it. Pay a little more attention to the chat. They'll teach me things I don't know. Move this over to here. Spicy's grabbing the shell. Let's see if he can get and he does, gets the green rocket. Frightening strategy that I would never try myself. Just like that. All right, Angry Sun Desert. No issues for True Hyper Mario getting through. Spicy not having any issues either. THM's getting his Hammer Brother out of the way here. Grabs the hammer next to 2-4. Spicy's is down by the pyramid. The Music Box Bro for True Hyper Mario is down below the pyramid too. So now they're equal on Hammer Brothers. Both of them playing 2-5 at the moment. Now, I would imagine strategy-wise for Hyper Mario, because he did have the hammer and he was right next to 2-4, that the reason he went down to 2-5 is to get that bro out of the way at the bottom and to determine the pattern of what the boss is going to be going from 2-4 to the castle without any disruptions. It could be both, it could be one or the other, but with that bro still moving around. Ooh, Spicy takes damage there, but that's really only half a second, maybe a second. There's nothing major he needs a Fire Flower for, other than the Hammer Brothers. He's just going to have to jump on them instead of using a Fire Flower. I mean, ideally, you want to stay powered up as much as you can, as long as you can, but... Okay, Spicy's getting his Hammer Brother for the Music Box out of the way. Well, I mean, who wouldn't be worried about sniping a plant? Plants are evil. How dare they produce all that oxygen? No issues whatsoever with those. The Warp Whistle Fire Brothers, kind of a pain. I've noticed they do have a couple different patterns they can shoot those fireballs in, but generally if you can jump on top of the one and avoid the fireball, you can just land nice and easily on top of the other one. Mario just finishing up in the period, and Spicy just finishing up in 2-4. So we're going to have a 1042 A press to a 1044 A press. We are still 2 seconds difference. Spicy's made up quite a bit of time in this world by having the Fire Flower to kill that Boom Boom. And even though True Hyper Mario did do the damage boost with the tail, the time it took him to pick up the tail and the time it took him to take the damage and gain the P-speed did give Spicy an opportunity to pick some time back up. So we're looking at 2 seconds at the current moment. Both of them are going to be picking up a Fire Flower in this airship. And that is a lot of angry chickens right now. Well, now's the perfect opportunity to go check on that popcorn that you have sitting in the kennel with the canola oil and the salt, because there's not much going on right now, and there's not going to be for another 10-15 seconds until they get to the boss here. True Hyper Mario having a little bit of fun there, just bouncing off, grabbing a 1-up. No issues whatsoever in that fire kill. Spicy's going to lose a little bit of time here. He had a little more trouble with the fire kill, so we're looking at 12:06 to 12:10. So True Hyper Mario's lead going into World 3 is going to be 4 seconds because he got that faster fire kill than Spicy did. Oh, thank heavens, I'm back to my old self again. They all say the same things every time. Okay, on to everybody's favorite water world, because who doesn't love a good water level in a game, let alone an entire world full of it? And there's really not much in 3-1. You can pick up a fire flower if you don't already have one. But really not much to be seen. The cheap's coming here in 3-2 of the big ones. So True Hyper Mario going for the P-Speed strategy and is able to get it. SpicyChickenSpiciBoi not going for the P-Speed strategy. He goes for the... Oh, and he takes damage there. See, those cheaps, if you don't do P-Speed, can be a little bit of a crapshoot. They're kind of a pain that you can hit him right on top of the head and the hitbox can be a little jank. So True Hyper Mario is going to extend his lead a little bit here by way of getting P-Speed versus the Chicken Walk and by still having his Fire Flower. So we'll have to see if Spicy's going to back this up with a P-Speed Fire Flower grab or if he's going to go into the fort as regular Mario. And he is going to go for the backup P-Speed Fire Flower grab. He does get it, maintains that P-Speed. Very nicely done. Misses a little jump there, but no big deal. Still maintains. However, 14-17, 8 pressed into the fort. Looks like Mario is extending his lead here. And the Hammer Brother moves out of the way. 14-31. So 14 seconds right now for Hyper Mario. 14 seconds for 14 Chaos Emeralds and Super Emeralds to be Hyper Mario. Would you look at that? I promise I won't do too many of those dad jokes. Well, if your popcorn kennels are burned by now, then you should probably go get them and prevent your house from getting on fire at least. Ooh, Spicy got a high pattern bro battle there. Had to jump a couple extra times to get it out of the way. Both into 3-5, both using P-Wings. Okay, no issues whatsoever. This is very rarely going to be an issue when you can fly over the entirety of a level, but hey, you never know. A nice little damage boost strategy there. Spicy's got a bro battle that he's taking care of here before he goes into 3-4. Hyper Mario still got one bro left that's hanging around upside that mushroom house. Oh no, I'm sorry, he fought both his bros already. What am I thinking? So into the auto-scroller, picking up the Fire Flower. Gonna see what strategy they use at the end, if they want to go for the Maiba 3-6, if they want a Chicken Walk 3-6. And once again, because we're in auto-scrollers, now is probably the time to make sure your house isn't burning down around you. The little jump off the Koopa there for Spicy Chicken had to be nothing more than just having fun and showing off. You don't have a house? Well, then I guess you don't have to see if anything's burning down around you then. Spicy doesn't go for the MyBit 3-6 of that Peace Bee, but he did jump off that Koopa shell there using the donuts to grab into the pipe without having to go over the Topsy spinner. What does Louie lose or have to sell when you finish 6-9 with a timer of 263? Okay, Spicy is through 3-7 with no issues whatsoever, maintains his Fire Flower. You do not want to have to pick up a Fire Flower in the fort, because if you do, you have to wait for the fish to move out of the way, because it will just sit there and be in your way for a moment. One, two, three, four, five. Hyper Mario easy with the Boom Boom. Spicy going the lower route through there and opting not to go through the ghost. Okay, Hyper Mario taking care of that boss bass, opting not to play the pacifist in this level and let him live and just jump all around it. See if Spicy does the same, or if he opts to just avoid him and let him survive. Well, he didn't avoid him, but he also didn't let him survive. Neither one of them playing the pacifist on this one. Okay, coming up into 3-9 here. Nice H jump there for Hyper Mario, lowercase h. Well, there's a lot to be determined in this run as far as violence or pacifism, and we'll see later on whether they both kick Bob or not. This might be an unpopular opinion for that level, but I think that Bob shouldn't be standing there if he doesn't want to get kicked off the pipe, particularly when Mario's in a hurry. Right, so Hyper Mario into the World 3 airship to the worst boss in the game, in my opinion, which is Wendy. 1957 touchdown on the airship itself. And now for Spicy, 10, 13, 15, 17 seconds behind currently is the lead for Hyper Mario. Let's see how Wendy behaves. As long as they both get into that boss battle with the Fire Flower, there probably shouldn't be too many issues for them killing off Wendy, but you never know. Worst thing that could happen is to get within 1 or 2 fireballs of defeating the boss and then taking damage from Wendy, and all of a sudden you got to do the stomps. Alright, Hyper Mario will get there first. Kites are along the battlefield and no issues whatsoever. Bye-bye, Wendy, you pain in the butt. Best thing about this format in these races is we get to see Wendy go down twice. Okay, Spicy doing the same thing, kiting her along, little close at the end there. A little nervous, he might have had to jump over her, but takes care of business, and both of them now going into World 4. That was crazy, just that little tiny bit there that he almost took damage from Wendy, but he was able to knock her out. No music box right away in World 4 for Hyper Mario. He's opting to go straight into the level. Doesn't get to the top using P-Speed, though. He does have P-Speed at the bottom, so he's going to continue along that route. Spicy's opting to use his music box before entering 4-1, so we'll stick around and see when Hyper Mario is going to use his. Spicy gets the upper route with P-Speed, maneuvers through the rest of the level, no problem. Now, that one bro is right there, so I'm wondering when Hyper Mario would use his, if he feels the bro's going to stay in place or go down and then back up again, and he can get a free early bro fight while keeping his music box. Good despawn there for Spicy as he continues through with P-Speed. But the bro does go left past 4-3. It could be based on the position. He figures he's only going to get those movements of one for a little while. Spicy, meanwhile, is getting the move back, so he gets to fight his bro before doing 4-3. One of the most satisfying P-Speed run levels in the game is 4-3, and one of the most punishing if you do it wrong and you either slow down or take damage. That pit right at the end is a huge time loss if you manage to die in there. Okay, so he opted instead of the music box to use his hammer here so he could go down and fight the bro. So he could have in mind fighting that, using his music box later, perhaps in World 6, to prevent more movements. We'll have to keep an eye on when he's going to use his extra music box, but in the meantime, zero issues running through that fort with P-Speed, ducking underneath. He's going to fire kill that boom boom. Spicy opts to use a star. Gets stuck at the end there a little bit, so he's going to slow walk, but also getting through with no issues. One, two. Two Lakitu jumps, and then the super swim. Then another bro fight for Spicy here. Nice and easy. Shoot the fireball. Go collect your reward. Okay, there's one Lakitu. Two Lakitu. You do have that unfortunate situation in World 4 where you are liable to get marathons from those hammer bros on the right-hand side. And thank you, Neo, for pointing that out. It's a little harder to track without the sound, but how much time they spend... Oh! A little bit of a missed jump there for True Hyper Mario. He's going to have to pick up his Fire Flower again, and this is going to give Spicy a huge opportunity to catch back up. He's going through, he's on the upper path, going through 4-6 right now, while Hyper Mario's in 4-5, but the Castle A-Press is going to be very telling to how much time he's made up. I would estimate that's got to be at least 10 seconds, if not maybe 15, because he had to re-pick up his Fire Flower, depending on how Spicy plays this. And so far, so good. He's running through no issues. No P-Speed, but it's very difficult to get P-Speed in this level, and he's through no problem, so... Spicy may actually have made up enough time to take the lead. And Spicy's into the fort with a 26:06, so Spicy's taking over the lead here. He's got a 6-second lead on True Hyper Mario from that one death, and presumably also from Hammer Brother movements, but I think you're right, Neo. It is probably closer to 20 because he had to pick up 2 power-ups from falling in that pit. Now, that being said, on the offshoot of this, let's keep in mind that he does have 1 extra music box over Spicy because of the way he played this world. So going into World 6, excuse me, where those Hammer Brothers are just as liable to marathon as World 4, he has an extra opportunity to stop Hammer Brother movements that Spicy doesn't have. So if he ends up with a marathon, he could end up making up the time difference. So we'll have to see how that plays out coming into World 6. He could also opt to use it in World 5, depending on how things go, but... Any audio change, what do you mean? Is it too loud? I can make it lower. Or is it not loud enough? No, this is Spicy's audio. Spicy's opting to free the leaf there. He's a friend of the trees. He wants that leaf to fall down. Let's see. Can play with the audio sync. Yeah, I believe his audio is off. Phoenix, if you wouldn't mind assisting with that, I'm unsure of how to play with it at the moment in the middle of doing everything else, if you wouldn't mind. Okay, in the meantime, both of them are through, no issues, nobody lost their fire flowers. We're going to be moving on to World 5. We'll see when they use their music boxes, if they use their music boxes in the beginning. All right, thank you, Phoenix. Appreciate it. Spicy does use his music box right in the beginning here, as does Hyper Mario. Did you look at that? I broke it, did it? No, we're all good. Thank you very much for the audio sync. Appreciate that. Thank you all for your patience and for your little Nemo holds. Okay, we have Spicy back as he's running to the fort. We're back at that approximately 7 to 8 second stream desync, but we'll get that taken care of in a second. Oh, already being taken care of now. Look at that. Phoenix is way ahead of me. Thank you for your assistance there. High pattern bro fight for Spicy. Takes care of the first one with the fireball. Just knocks out the other one with the jump. Everybody's favorite level in World 5, 5-3. Looks like during the audio fix, Hyper Mario fought one of his bros because there's only one left on the map as he goes into 5-3 after having just come out of the fort. Spicy still maintaining a 5 to 6 second lead here. No issues in 5-3 whatsoever. Just gunning through there like a champ. Sniping all the extra enemies. No pacifism there either. Another high pattern bro fight. No issue whatsoever. Just snipe him with those fireballs. It's the best stage with the Goomba shoe that nobody ever uses. Okay, we'll see where the lead stands after the Twisty Castle. We'll see what happens in here. A lot could go wrong, even though it doesn't normally go wrong. Spicy loses his P-Speed. Oh, excuse me, and he loses his Fire Flower. Not the end of the world. He'll have an opportunity to pick that back up. Nothing bad ever happens in the Twisty Castle. Okay, 3255 reappearance on the map for Spicy as he moves into the next level here. True Hyper Mario coming up, and he is going to be 3304. So 9-second difference right now. Papa Tate blaming me for that. Apparently that was my fault. I'm not really sure how, but I'll go ahead and take the blame. All right, Spicy is going to have to pick up a Fire Flower again, which he'll do in 5-7. He'll have to use the star if he's going to be doing the P-Speed strategy. Picks up a tail here. Now, I don't know if he intended to do that or if that was a bonk and he just picked it up because it happened to be right there. It's runner's preference as to whether or not you want to take a leaf into 5-6. The advantage of having the leaf being that, of course, you can flutter from these jumps and it helps prevent a death if you happen to mistime your jump. The offshoot of that and the negative being that if you accidentally let go of B and then repress B, you can tail swipe these buzzy beetle flying things and you could die. Yes, and there's that as well. Thank you, Gungeon, that if you had to fight the Hammer Brother, having the tail makes it quicker than if you were to just have to jump. If you get the high pattern, then it's only a little slower to just do it with regular Mario. But if you get a low pattern, unless you're going to duck jump and sweaty strategy kill him, the leaf is much faster. But again, that being said, if you're not careful with the leaf in 5-6, you could accidentally tail swipe one of these flying beetles and fall to your doom. And as we saw with Hyper Mario in the last world, one pitfall can make a huge difference. Now he does end up fighting the bro with a low pattern with the tail. He gets jump kill the first one, tail swipe the second one. He's got his music box, and now he can damage boost in 5-7. He doesn't need that star. Yeah, that's true, Budsy. He did opt not to use the cloud to fight the bro earlier. We haven't seen that yet from either runner so far. The only other opportunity we might see it in is World 6 coming up, depending on if the Hammer Brothers on the right side of the map, but we'll see how that goes. So 35-36, A-pressed into the fort. 35-40, A-pressed into the fort. Losing that Fire Flower in the Twisty Castle. Once again, I apologize, Spicy, for apparently that being my fault. Has cost him 2 seconds of his lead, from 6 seconds down to 4 seconds. Nobody taking damage here. Hyper Mario missed the jump input for the pipe entry, so 36 minutes even. 36:05 only cost him a second missing that pipe, but it's amazing and interesting to see when you get to a very high level, like world record level, we're talking about frames, how just missing a pipe entry the way Hyper Mario just did cost him 1 second, and how one pipe entry across 8 worlds of all of this could be the difference between a world record and not a world record, or winning or losing a race when you're at this level. So it's just insane, the optimization that this game can have at the highest levels of speedrunning. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Nothing to say because nothing's happening. Auto scrollers. We all love them. Alright, I'll stop. The Hammer Brothers are a huge defining factor. People have died in 5-9, that's true. None that I could think of off the top of my head. Wink, wink. Me? What? Nothing. I have died in 5-9 plenty of times. I've died in every level of this game plenty of times. Salt. Dog. Where is the dog? Actually, now that I think about it, you're not. Oh, the dog's right there. She's laying at my feet. Is that what you want for airships? Because nothing really goes on, you want me to just say words? Dog, salt, fault, coffee, water. Hockey. I don't actually say that one. I pronounce it hockey, but Big Otis would be proud of the last one. They both had poop blocks, but were they lucky poop blocks? Alright, so Spicy's into the pipe at 38.47. Hyper Mario still that 5-6 seconds behind. No issues with the fire kill. Neither one of them getting the boss to jump up, so nice and easy. What movies gave you emotional damage as a kid? I don't know. I didn't watch a lot of movies as a kid, so I'll leave that to the chat to answer that one. Horse hockey. Yes, I said 5 to 6 seconds difference. Okay, into World 6-1, 39.32. 39.37, so 5 seconds difference right now between both runners. Spicy making easy work of 6-1 here. Papa Tate is leaving the chat, and I'm guessing by that the 6-7 was an inside joke that went way over my head because I'm too slow to keep up with it. Okay, Hyper Mario fights the bro before going into 6-3 here. Picks up his hammer. Oh, and another pitfall for Hyper Mario. That's going to cost him another 15 or so seconds. Now, he's opting to go back to 6-2 rather than continue into that level. I think the power-ups are easier to grab in 6-2 than they are in 6-3. This is going to give SpicyChickenSpiciBoi an opportunity to extend his lead by quite a margin here. That's 2 deaths to none so far by my count. And that's the danger of 6-3. It's not a particularly fast-moving level in the sense of if you just chicken walk it, it's okay. But he was going for P-speed, and he just looked like he missed a jump input and falls down into the pit. So that's... You know, in a 5-6 second difference, that could come down to clips in World 7, but we might be looking at more of a 20 to 25 second difference here. Spicy's got one bro movement. He did short the jump, okay. Well, they're both through the same number of Hammer Brothers now, and one saving grace for Hyper Mario as Spicy uses a music box is he does still have one extra music box, so he could stop the bro movements twice, but that's not going to make up the time difference of 2 deaths, so he's going to need to perform very well in the clips in World 7. And I would think he's going to have to be deathless the rest of this run unless Spicy hits into a wall here, not trying to give him a curse, but Takes the safer route, jumping over. Very good race strategy there. Even if you know you have enough time to kill that boom boom, just jump over the block, make sure. Yeah, so like Alice said, if you're not doing P-Speed and you're comfortable with 6-3 as Little Mario, doing the fort first guarantees that you're not going to accidentally take damage and then have to slower pick up a power-up to do the spike walk. As we saw with what's going on with True Hyper Mario right now, where he died and then had to go back and pick up power-ups. But it is a good way to avoid dying or taking damage before going into the fort. I like to see all these little intricacies between the strategies that these runners are employing. Now, True Hyper Mario is into 6-4. Spicy's done with 6-4. Opts to use a star. He's Little Mario. Gets a good low pattern, so he gets a quicker kill. It's a good race safety strat as well. Both his brothers are right there, but he's opting to skip that one for now just to go into, 6-6. Not going to use the extra star. He is going to P-Wing for 6-5, so depending on where the bro goes, he might just do 6-5 with the P-Wing and then use the tail to defeat that other Hammer brother. Takes the upper route, no issues, avoids the fish. Hyper Mario's bro ran into him. He took a very aggressive lower pattern jump kill there, and very nice. Very ballsy to do that with Little Mario without using a star. P-Speed there for Hyper Mario. So now Spicy's opting to go back to fight this bro, and he's not taking the ballsy strategy. He's taking the patient strategy. It'd be interesting to see why he waited to fight the bro, where he thought maybe it was going to move, that he could have used his tail, or if he just wanted to complete the level first, knowing that it was only going to move 1 or 2 spaces based on where it was. He does the Spicy Chicken Spicy Kick. Despawns one of the munchers. Okay, True Hyper Mario. So let's see, 44, 45, jump onto the card. Hyper Mario is also going for the Spicy Kick. Despawns one muncher. So 44, 45. Now we've got a 45-01. So 16 seconds currently is what the 2 deaths so far have cost him. This last death cost him 10 seconds. The first death cost him closer to 20 seconds because he had to go back through a non-P-Speed level. That enemy is coming dangerously close to Spicy there. It is trying its damnedest to get rid of his tail. Hyper Mario has an easier time with it. He's able to just tail flick it and watch it fall to its doom. My thoughts exactly, Papa Tate. And I'm done. Now those Chain Chomp fire enemies are really the only frightening thing about this level. It moves along slow enough where you're not too worried about falling in a pit with a tail. Now the fort coming up is pretty huge because if you somehow or other, if you take damage, if you die in this fort, you can't fly underneath. It's a very slow moving fort. But Spicy has no problems. Gets a little stuck there, but he's going to damage boost through and get to the end, no issue. As long as he doesn't die in the boom boom, he's going to be perfectly fine. Couple bonks there, but nothing major. Hyper Mario, same thing, gets the damage boost, maintains the P-Speed, so he's going to make up a second here because he didn't have any bonks. Back to the overworld at 46-41. Back to the overworld at 46-54. So he made up 3 seconds by not bonking in that fort. Again, it's just crazy and amazing. Although he's going to lose the time he just made up by not having the P-speed there. He does get half of an H jump, but he's going to forfeit time back. But you see, just from bonking in that fort, the little tiny things that you would think wouldn't make a difference were the difference of 3 seconds for 2 bonks at the high level that these two runners are. So it's amazing how these little intricacies make such a huge difference. However, that being said, not getting P-speed in the last level, missing that little flutter at the beginning. Hyper Mario, I would estimate, it's going to be closer to 17 seconds behind going into the airship, if nothing else changes. Spicy not doing 610 P-speed here. He's just going to hop his way to the end. Hyper Mario just damage boost there. He's going to pick up the Fire Flower here. He doesn't have P-speed either. Safer strategy. You know, you could end up dying if you try to pick up that Fire Flower earlier. We've all seen it happen before. He's already taken 2 deaths in this race. Smartly doesn't want to take another one. This fort is another extremely satisfying level to P-speed run through. And then, of course, you get to the falling ceiling area where nothing's happening and you're just sitting here because why not, right? So 48-44, A press onto the castle for Spicy Chicken. A little too spicy for me. I can't handle spice, but... So Spicy's got a... He's expanded upon his lead coming into the airship here. We're going to have to see what happens going into World 7 and what happens in this airship. A lot of it could depend on the clips. They're going to try to do that sub-pixel manipulation at the end of the boss. And because it's an airship, I'll go ahead and say it again for you. Boss. Oh my god, I thought Spicy died there for a second. That was frightening. I know it's just the way the level dips and maneuvers, and he did land on the platform, but for a brief second, at least to me, it looked like he was going to fall. Shoot here, boss. Okay, Hyper Mario went for the clip, didn't get the clip, so he's going to have to go through the flame gauntlet here. Boss Coffee? What's Boss Coffee? Is that a brand? Okay, boss time. Spicy's opting not to bother with the fireballs. He's going to jump kill this boss. He's trying to do the sub-pixel manipulation, and he's grabbing the wand at 50 minutes and 16 seconds. Okay, True Hyper Mario. He is going to fire kill this boss here. However, the boss is moving. Oh, and he loses his Fire Flower. Oh dear. So, oh, and he takes damage twice. This is going to be, and oh. Tilt? It says tilt on the screen. I don't know what that means. Oh, that is going to, oh dear. Something just happened with the timers. What just happened with the timers? True Hyper Mario's timer just kind of went crazy a little bit there. Hyper Mario's is correct. I think actually it's SpicyChickenSpiciBoi that's off. Looking at the race room, SpicyChickenSpiciBoi's timer went up for some reason. Because his timer right now is above the timer in the race room. So I don't know what happened with his splits. But Hyper Mario's back in the airship. I mean, that's going to cost him like a minute and a half. I mean, that's just... He's going to go for the jump kill here. All right, so now just to point out, I think he was trying to make up some time. You can only do about 3 seconds per boss, but not taking the safe route in the race there ended up costing him like a minute and a half. It could be his PC. Because the race room... I'm looking at the race room timer, and Hyper Mario's timer is correct. I do believe Spicy's just having an issue, but we still have his feed. His run is still going. I have the race room open, so we are going to be able to determine what's going on. Either which way, we can see the difference. Hyper Mario's getting that clip after a couple tries, no issues. Yeah, we still have a broadcast. He's still in the race room. Everything's good for now. So for now, we're just going to ignore... Very good clip for Hyper Mario. We kind of knew from the way it was before that Spicy was ahead by about a minute and a half. So we're going to use the timer we have on the screen to determine the difference between them. We're just going to take 5 minutes off of Spicy's for the sake of math. I'm sorry, 4.5 off Spicy's for the sake of math. Yeah, and realistically, as long as they're still broadcasting and the race room timer is still open, that's the only thing that really truly matters. Anyway, either which way, to close out the thought, by going for the fire kill there and getting trapped in the corner is what cost Hyper Mario all this time, versus playing a safety strat and just jump killing him on the right-hand side. We think it's PC issues, Phoenix, with Spicy's PC, because Spicy's timer is like 3 minutes ahead of the race room right now, so it's not anything on the stream. We believe it has to do with just Spicy's PC. So I don't think it's anything we can do. There's no sync, I believe, on our end that can be done, because Hyper Mario's is the appropriate amount of time behind the race room. Yeah, it is the second rough World 6 airship fire kill. It's just, again, it shows the difference in a race between a safety strat and maybe like a speed run where you would fully fire kill. Depends on your level of comfortability, but once he got trapped in the corner is where things became complicated. So Spicy pulls out a star. He's going to go take care of this piranha level first. Now, once Hyper Mario's out of the world's worst auto-scroller, we're going to get a timer for where he is, and then we're going to get a timer for where Spicy is, and I'm just going to subtract them so we can tell the difference. Yeah, and just so you know, Phoenix as well, looking onto Spicy's actual stream, that's the timer that's on his stream, so it is related to something on his end. Yes, Kentucky Fried Jedi is correct. Something happened with Spicy splits. It's nothing on our end. That's what we're going to do, is basically go off of that. So once Spicy gets to the airship, we're going to note the time on Hyper Mario's timer, and then we're going to see the difference. There was no lack of the gameplay never cut out, the screen never cut out, his stream never cut out. So, all right, Spicy's going into 7-7 here. He's not trying for any Hammer Brothers strategies. Hammer suit strategies, I should say, for 7-7 clip. He's just going to run straight through. He is going to pick up the star here. Did not get the movement necessary in order to skip that last star. Absolutely living dangerous. Damage boosting there. He's going to skip the fort with the cloud so he can use the P-Wing and then head back. Yes, it would go to a frame count if it's close and it's need be. But because Hyper Mario's taken 3 deaths and did die at the boss on Lemmy, unless something catastrophic happens to Spicy Chicken, I think it's not going to be necessary. Well, we're going to get the difference between them once we get to the airship. I'm going to write down the time, and then we can go from there. Hyper Mario back to the fort. Good strategy there. If you don't have the tail, is just P-Wing 7-6 by using the cloud to skip the fort and then head backwards. Yeah, so there was a lot that happened at once. Spicy's timer went haywire. Hyper Mario got stun locked in the corner and then took a death. Right after I was saying it was a little risky to do a fire kill, and then all of a sudden... All right, now, while all that was going on, this is completely unrelated, but just to answer somebody's question from earlier, I'm from New York. So you were wondering about my accent. I'm from New York City. Just that was a question that was posed when things went haywire and were going through. But you could see by the fort that Spicy is 3 levels ahead of Hyper Mario at this point. Spicy's timer has now disappeared. His splits are still running on his stream, so... Oh, I see. Thank you, Phoenix. Appreciate that. So coming onto the airship, touching down on the airship for Spicy, we have a 5950. So I'm going to remember that, 5950. At this point, he's a Piranha stage, a fort, and 1 level ahead. So we're looking at about 5 minutes. Not 5, I'm sorry, 5 minutes. Probably about 3 minutes at this point. Very nice clip there from Hyper Mario. Pretty much has to catch these clips as best he can with the hammer suit to make up time. Didn't get the other one, didn't get the backup one, so he's just going to run through and finish the level normally. Gets a nice little Riz clip at the end there. And he knows. At this point, 2 deaths prior and a death in Lemmy, he knows. So he's having some fun with it, and good on him. Gets that fun little Riz clip at the end. Gonna run through this fort with the hammer suit. Super satisfying to watch. Oh. Okay, he's not gonna run through the whole fort with the hammer suit. Yeah, so Roxandra, to touch on that, at the time of the death in 4-5, which is where this race entirely turned around, Hyper Mario was, I believe, 12 seconds ahead of Spicy Chicken. It was at that point that Spicy took the lead, and he hasn't looked back since. And since then, Hyper Mario had the 2 deaths. But the Lemmy death in and of itself is about 1.5 to 2 minutes worth of map movements and going through the ship again. Okay, Spicy's through the boss, no issues whatsoever. I think we had said, what, 59.50? So it's going to be about pretty much what you said. It's about 2 minutes and 30 seconds is the main difference right now. I was thinking closer to 3 minutes. Now, Spicy's moving on to World 8. I will say this just for the fun of it, because we're going to be stuck in auto-scrollers for a while. Other than a complete and utter catastrophe, this is now Spicy's race to lose. And when I say catastrophe, I mean, you got to take a death or two, but you'd almost have to take the death going into Bowser, have to replay Bowser's castle, and have to do it without any sort of power-up to kill Bowser with. Which is possible. We've seen crazier things. Meanwhile, because they're both in auto-scrollers, I'm going to make myself another cup of coffee because it's sitting right behind me. Not quite the same as making popcorn, but hey, you work with what you got, right? I like that Christmas hat emote. Alright, Hyper Mario, finishing off the boss. Moving it to World 8. Anybody else tired? Take a little nap during the auto-scrollers? See, now here's the thing. You would think with a 2 minute and 23 second lead that Spicy could just kind of take it easy, safe walk it, chicken walk it, however you want to refer to it. But he has no idea. Now, because it's a vanilla game, it's not randomizer. If they wanted to watch the other runner's feed, they could. But I don't know very many who do, and even then, because of the stream delay, I don't know that Spicy knows he has such a large lead. And the only reason I bring that up is because if he doesn't, and that's the case, rather than play it safe, he's going to do his normal strategies. And if his normal strats do not involve extra safe chicken walking, we could very well see some craziness happen in World 8 with a couple of deaths. So the bowl, oh, not bowl, bowl, roughly the size of a quarter. Yeah, that's the other thing, Javinator is correct, that if he has a hiccup or two... Oh, there's Hyper Mario. Yeah, so Spicy's going to continue. True Hyper Mario. No problem. True Hyper Mario DNF. Spicy says he's going to finish. So Spicy's continuing on. He did say in the race room chat he's going to finish the run. So GG Hyper Mario. Just a little bit of bad luck there on that run. Lemmy was kind of the final nail in the coffin. Hold. First and last on those tournament. That's how I feel. Look at the bright side. You could have finished this run with 10 deaths and you'd still have beaten my times in this tournament. I will say this probably, in the short time I've been doing this, has to be the craziest race that I have. What's the word I'm looking for? That I have had the honor of calling so far. I would say, Hyper Mario, you're not giving yourself enough credit. Even though Hundo's out of your comfort zone, you've played extremely well through this tournament. Your times were good. You had a little bit of bad luck in a couple levels, but other than that, Lemmy was the nail in the coffin. But you played very well. You made it very far. So I think you're selling yourself short a little bit. Just my take on it. In the meantime, Spicy is through 8-1. I am pouring myself another cup of coffee. Because why not? This level is extremely satisfying to watch somebody run through with P-speed. So Hyper Mario, just out of curiosity, is Warpless your normal category for this game? Just plain black coffee. I don't put anything in it. It's low acid coffee because of some health stomach issues I have, but plain black coffee. Starbucks coffee is terrible. Dunkin' coffee is terrible. Sue me. Starbucks. If you get regular coffee at Starbucks, it's always burnt. It tastes terrible. Starbucks, you need to get like fruity drinks. So, you know, I will say, Hyper Mario, funnily enough, I have a huge mental block when it comes to Warpless. I just can't seem to do well in Warpless. But Hundo, I'm comfortable with. My times aren't good because I'm new to it, but I'm not comfortable with Warpless. I'm comfortable with Hundo. So it's the exact opposite. Oh, 2 tournaments. Which other tournament are you in? French press is great. I just have to find a low acid coffee that I can use in a French press. Oh, very nice. Okay, SpicyChickenSpiciBoi moving into Bowser's Castle here. We'll get a final time based on racetime.gg since the timer went haywire. In the meantime, we can all just marvel at the fact that the little flames that dance around in World 8 on the overworld map kind of sync pretty well with little Mario's little arm dance that he's doing, the little wiggle, like wiggle, 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 wiggle. That's true. But without giving away any spoilers, I can say that I saw ahead of time on race time that his PC did allow him to hit the finish button. So his timer is 1:12:33.10. And for those of you that have seen the Carfox commercial, you know what I'm talking about when I say wiggle, 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 wiggle. So GG, Spicy. Congrats on the win. I believe facing Alice next in the Battle of the Chickens. And True Hyper Mario, great race. Unfortunate circumstances with Lemmy and doing 2 tournaments at once. Valiant effort. Great job in the tournament. Congratulations to you both. We'll see if Spicy's going to be joining us as well as Hyper Mario. When Chuck attacks? Okay, then I mistook the bracket. Dog. Hey, Hyper Mario, welcome in.
Hello.
GG's on the race. I know there was some unfortunate circumstances there, but you're doing 2 different tournaments at once, which is crazy. And you did mention you're normally warpless and hundo's out of your comfortability level, but it was very close. Right up to Lemmy, it was only about a 20 to 30 second difference.
Oh, it was that close.
It was that close. So what ended up happening is you were ahead by, I want to say, about 12 to 15 seconds, right up until the first death in World 4-5. And that's where Spicy was able to take a 6-second lead because you had to re-pick up those power-ups and go from that level. And from that point until World 6, Spicy was maintaining about a 6-second lead when the issue in 6-3 happened. But going into Lemmy, it was about 20, 30 seconds, so it was very close.
Oh, okay.
So that's what I meant when I was saying I think you're not giving yourself enough credit, because until that weird Lemmy where he kind of stun locked you in the corner there, it was a very close race. Spicy, welcome in.
Hey, thank you. GG's to True Hyper.
Yep, and this was the 3rd race between me and Spicy. I won the previous 2, so I think Spicy deserved this one.
1 of 3, I'll take it for now. Yeah, True Hyper has beaten me in a warpless race and a points tournament matchup previously, so good. Does it feel good to get a win finally?
Yeah, and I'd be remiss if I didn't ask, what happened with the timer, Spicy? Because at the end of World 6, just for a little background, right? And Hyper Mario, I don't know if you saw or you were aware, but right at the end of World 6, everything happens all at once. The Lemmy issue happened with the death. Spicy's timer went like AWOL, out of whack. It jumped ahead 5 minutes, and there was just all this craziness that happened all at once.
So I accidentally split in World 6, and instead of the undo split button that I have on my keyboard, I just muscle memory reset splits. And so that forfeited the race for me. So then in the process, and I obviously had undone the split, I would have been fine. Forfeited, and then by the time I unforfeited myself, that somehow added a bunch of time to my timer. So I don't really know what the sequence of events there was. But then I just split ahead. By the time I realized everything, I realized it was multiple minutes off. But this time around, actually tracked my time. So you said I got a 12:33 in the end.
It did, and I will say, I don't know if you did this entire race like in your pool or in the shower, but your microphone sounds like you're completely underwater. Like, I'm picking up every other word. I mean it as a joke, but like...
Spicy's mic was abducted by aliens.
Yeah, that's what the chat said.
How is that? Is that better?
Yeah, that's better. Like, I'm thinking to myself, like, this dude's just chilling in the pool, racing in the pool, like...
Yeah, I'm in a hot tub right now.
Hot tub stream. The chat did mention your computer was having issues, so we did think it was due to partially
No,
due to
this was the timer thing was 100% user error, for sure.
Gotcha. So that happened at the same time that the Lemmy issue happened for Hyper Mario, which kind of
Oh,
threw us
man.
all out of
Oh.
whack. We're like, wait a minute, what's going on here? I went to race time. I'm like, all right, Hyper Mario's timer makes sense. It's like a minute or so behind race time, which is what's normal. You're like 5 minutes ahead of race time. So what the heck's going on? Like, so there was it added a little bit of fun to it.
So me and Spicy are destined to have janky timers when we're racing against each other. I remember back in the Points Palooza, I had issues with the timer. It never started when the race started.
Right, that's right. I do remember that.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah. So I mean, it was bound to happen then. It really was. So one thing I wanted to ask Hyper Mario, and I was curious as to the strategy. It kind of got lost in the translation of what happened in World 6, but you opted not to use the music box at all in World 4. Was that in the mind of using one in World 6, or you did mention you're normally warpless? Was that just kind of muscle memory from warpless runs?
Actually, no. I was hoping that the bro will come to me right after 4-2, then fight the bro, then use the music box, but RNG.
Okay, yeah, and then he moved away.
I disagree.
Strategically, I did see you use the hammer to go and take care of him. And I was saying at the time that you would have that extra box then for World 6 if you needed it, but we were wondering about, because there's so many little intricacies with the strategies and things you can do. It's pretty crazy. So very interesting. But yeah, no, I think it was very good. It was within 30 seconds right till the end, and
Yep, and there you see Hundo is out of my comfort zone. I'm not familiar with the overroad item usage.
yeah, and then Spicy Neo just mentioned it in chat. You did answer already, but I was going to ask you about that tail grab in World 5, which was intentional.
Yeah, just in case I had to fight that hammer brother, I was not feeling totally comfortable. Clearly, I had taken damage quite a few times, and so I was just thinking, best to be safe. I don't want to waste a star that I might want later or something if I take damage. So I thought I'll just grab the tail just for safety.
Yeah, and it was interesting. You opted not to cloud to fight that bro before 5-6 when you had the opportunity. Is that because you thought it was going to move back and you'd be comfortable, or?
Well, because I believe it was on the lower tile, so I figured there's no reason to fight it early at that point because it couldn't run away entirely. So I wouldn't, if there was a chance that it could have run towards the castle, I would usually cloud. But I think I was safe from that in this scenario.
And it's always interesting to ask these questions and find out the strategies, because for somebody that's newer to the game, I myself am newer to speedrunning this game, who just likes to watch, you can see the knowledge that they have of the Hammer Brother movements and where it would go. Like Spicy just said, it couldn't run away fully from where it was, so that's why you wouldn't necessarily use that cloud there. So it's always interesting to get those point of views in speedrunning. That being said, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I was just, in this category, really just using the clouds to avoid worst-case scenarios like World 3 Runaway Bro or the World 5 Bro, giving you like 6 additional movements of 4. So those, I mean, you're really just, in my mind, I'm just trying to eliminate those very worst-case scenarios.
Yeah, exactly. And on that note, I would just like to say thank you to both of you for a great race. Thank you for a great time with the timer. That was fun little wrench getting thrown in, kept it interesting.
Oh, so much fun.
Thank you to SpeedGaming for hosting us, to Haxer, to Restream, both runners. Everybody follow both runners, please. And I'm going to leave it to you guys for any last comments you have, and then we'll sign off.
Well, I just want to say GG's to True Hyper. Thank you, everyone who makes this possible. And True Hyper, until we meet in the next tournament.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. And yeah, thank you for SpeedGaming hosting this. And especially thank you for the Haxer for organizing this tournament. It was quite fun. First Hundo tournament. I actually started grinding Hundo this year. And special shout out to my big brother. Right after I died in Lemmy fight, he came to my chat keeping me company. So thanks for the support. Love you, bro.
All right, well, on behalf of everybody, thank you very much. Thanks, both runners. Everybody stay tuned for the next races coming up. We've got a lot of good ones coming up in the next couple days. We've got Kudo going tomorrow morning versus Chikubi. So thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you the next time, and everyone have a good morning, evening, or afternoon, depending on where you are.